Make sure on page 478 we're going to do some practice problems together. Number 1 says determine the relationship if the relationship is a multiplicative relationship, and then explain. Looking at the table, we notice that the input values are on the top. Those are the x values that are independent. 9 will become 63, 11 will become 77, and 15 will become 105. Now, if it's an additive relationship, that means something is either added or subtracted from 9 to make a 63. If it's multiplicative, that means something is either multiplied or divided with the 9 to become 63. So go ahead and answer that question for me. What kind of relationship is this? Is it multiplicative or additive? Okay, very good. If you said multiplicative, you are correct. So if you look at 9 and 63, multiplying 9 by 7 will get you 63. Also, multiplying 11 by 7 will get you 77. And the same thing is true for 15, because 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 5 is 35. 70 plus 35 is 105. So this is a multiplicative relationship. And I just explained why. All right, let's go ahead and look at number 2. Number 2 says the graph shows the relationship between the number of laps Samantha and Rebecca each swim and the length of time it takes each to swim those laps. Write an equation and a verbal description of each relationship. Compare the relationships. Okay. So we're looking over here at the graph. I want you to go ahead and, by drawing a table, determine what the x and y values are for Samantha and write an equation for it. And then I want you to pick which equation matches hers. Then you're going to do the same thing for Rebecca. You're going to write a table for x and y values, and then you're going to determine which equation matches hers. All right. Go ahead and work on that now. Okay, your table should look like something like this. Now, if you didn't write any tables, please get your pencil in your hand and write it down now, because this is math class. We have work to do. So the table for Samantha, if you'll notice, if we go over 0 amount for x, we go up 0 for y, so you should have 0 and 0. And I chose 2 because 2 crosses right at the 4, so 2 and 4 is clearly another relationship. And then I looked over at 6, and I go up, and that crosses at the 12, so 6 and 12. And then for Rebecca, if you go over 0 for x, you would go up to 5 for y. If you go over 7, halfway between 6 and 8, you're going to go up 12. And then if you go over to 9, halfway between 8 and 10, you're going to go up to 14. Now that we have seen both of the tables, I want you to write the equations for each. Okay, so answer the following question. Thank you. Okay, so these are the equations you should have chosen. Samantha is 2, y is equal to 2 times x, so 0 times 2 is 0, and 2 times 2 is 4, and 6 times 2 is 12. And then the equation for Rebecca is y is equivalent to x, which is, the first case here is 0 plus 5, and then 7 plus 5 is 12, and then 9 plus 5 is 14. Lastly, it's asking us to write a verbal description. So go ahead and answer the following questions about the verbal descriptions. We're interested in whether these are linear equations, whether they're multiplicative, whether they're additive, whether they go through the origin. Answer the following questions. Thank you. Okay, so you could say that they're both linear, certainly. They're both increasing. Samantha's actually is steeper than Rebecca's. That's one thing we could say. Samantha's is multiplicative. It does go through the origin. Rebecca's is definitely an additive relationship and does not go through the origin. All right, one final question. Number 3, how is the graph of a multiplicative relationship different than the graph of an additive relationship? And if you were just listening, you should know. But go ahead and answer the question that follows. Thank you. Okay, I'm not a fan of these pens. So multiplicative relationships use multiplication or division, and they go through the origin. Additive relationships will use the addition or subtraction as a relationship because, subtraction actually is adding negative numbers, so they're the same thing. And it doesn't go through the origin. All right. Now go ahead and work on your independent practice. Do your very best job. Thank you.